was a trailer.
Might make sense of the noise.
All the hard work that went into it.
Oh!
Out here, the most dangerous encounters don't always look dangerous at first. A simple camping night turns into a stranger trying to force his way inside a tent, while somewhere else, a locked car becomes the only thing standing between someone and an attacker smashing through the glass. So when something feels wrong, do you trust it or wait until it's too late? Valerie is a traveler known for documenting her journeys across Central Asia, focusing on authentic cultural experiences, remote landscapes, and the people she meets along the way. In this episode, she was camping alone in an open field in Kazakhstan. During the night, an unexpected visitor approached her tent, turning a peaceful stop into one of the most unsettling moments she had experienced.
Start from the beginning. I was in Turkestan hitchhiking to Alaskan, and it was pretty late in the evening, 7:30 p.m. I'm just a few hundred meters away from the city center in Turkestan, and it's sad to see, but it looks like a different world. The streets are full of potholes, they're scattered everywhere. The contrast is very big, like the huge buildings and the fountains. Yeah, it's the same city, right?
To understand how it began, it's necessary to return to the start of her day. She was hitchhiking from Turkestan toward Alaskan, hoping to visit the historic mausoleum and nearby mosque. A local family offered her a ride, and by the time she reached her destination, evening was already settling in. She urgently needed a place to camp.
Okay, I found a good spot here on the field. I have to be quick now though, because the sun is setting and I don't want to use my light, because then the mosquitoes will bite me. There are already some horses here next to me, but we can't see them, I guess. I love this place already. And I'm gonna see the mosque in the morning.
And eventually chose a quiet stretch of open field as the last light faded. Horses grazed nearby, creating a calm atmosphere she immediately appreciated. As she prepared for the night, the horses wandered closer, curious about her presence. She filmed a few moments, enjoyed the setting, and got ready to sleep. But about an hour later, she woke to movement outside. Assuming it was the horses again, she checked only to see a car approaching across the dark field.
There is someone in the car. I hope he doesn't mind me camping here on his ground.
Kazakhstan bilmeyecek
WhatsApp pierwsze za telefon.
Bye bye. Thank you. Kata Rahmat. Thank you. Bye.
A man and his wife stepped out. They appeared to be checking on the horses and soon noticed her tent. Using a translation app, they asked about her background, where she was from, her relationship status, and her reason for being there. The interaction remained polite, but lasted longer than she expected, and the mosquitoes made it uncomfortable. Eventually, they left. A short time later, the same car returned. This time, the man asked for her social media details. She gave them, and they drove away again. Although the exchange stayed courteous on the surface, something about it felt off. She attempted to sleep again, but around 3 a.m., she woke to the sound of someone outside her tent.
I can't believe I just called this man friendly. I'm so disappointed. It's 3 a.m. I heard a noise, someone was saying something. I opened the door of my tent, and then he was there again, like very close. And he was like making a kissing gesture. And I said, what? I was still like, I didn't understand what was going on because I just woke up. And he really tried to go into my tent. I had to stop him and push him away. And he said, what are you doing? No. Like clearly said, no. And he wouldn't understand, like he wouldn't want to understand. I was like in such a shock because I didn't get why, like what was happening, and I kept saying no, and he wanted to still like come inside. Eventually he said, yeah, phone to speak, like Google Translate. And I said, no, leave me alone. No, go. And I think I said this for 2 minutes straight until he finally left. But man, I've never had that before. And yeah, now he went back into his car. I don't know, will he return or not? So it's a bit stupid situation right now. And I mean, so sad, because they were friendly and stuff, but this really destroyed it, unfortunately. And it was the first time I didn't really feel 100% safe. I mean, I was sure that one day I will face these kind of...
When she looked out, she saw the same man standing extremely close. His behavior was clearly inappropriate, and he tried to enter the tent despite her repeated refusal. She pushed him back and avoided engaging, but he continued attempting to approach her, insisting on further interaction, even as she firmly resisted. After several tense minutes, he finally stepped away and returned to his car. Even then, she had no certainty whether he might come back. When morning arrived, she continued with her original plan to visit the mausoleum, trying to recover something meaningful from the experience, despite being visibly shaken and exhausted. What made the situation especially disturbing was that nothing in her actions had invited such behavior. She had simply been polite, answered his questions, and maintained normal boundaries, none of which could justify his decision to return alone in the middle of the night and try to force his way into her space. Although she kept traveling afterward, the incident became a strong reminder of the precautions necessary when camping alone in unfamiliar areas. By morning, the field appeared peaceful again, with cows wandering past as if nothing had happened. Viewers who want to see more real encounters that make everyday life feel safer can watch the next video, and subscribing helps support the channel. Some believe the man returned because he misunderstood her politeness, while others think he targeted her once he realized she was alone. The encounter shows how quickly a routine interaction can turn into a real threat. The unsettling question remains: if she hadn't woken up at that moment, what might he have done next? Viewers are left wondering how narrowly she avoided something far worse, and whether the man ever intended to stop. The Tiny Nomad channel follows its creator Gina as she travels and lives out of her reliable forerunner, documenting solo road trips, car camping routines, and explorations of unusual and often remote locations across North America, with a strong connection to Alaska. Her videos are known for her resourcefulness and her willingness to push beyond her comfort zone, often featuring eerie destinations and stealth camping challenges. On October 29, 2025, she set out to film a Halloween episode. Her original plan was to spend the night at the well-known abandoned Igloo Hotel near Denali National Park. When she arrived, the entire property was blocked off, forcing her to abandon that idea. The day had already been filled with small frustrations: a quiet, uneventful drive through Denali and an underwhelming dinner in Talkeetna, so she redirected her plan toward an even more unsettling location, a haunted cemetery in Anchorage, where she intended to stealth camp for the night. After a long drive, she arrived at the Russian Orthodox cemetery. Its layout immediately created an uneasy atmosphere, especially the brightly colored house-like grave coverings she later learned were called spirit houses.
So this is a Russian Orthodox cemetery. I've never been to one of these before, but they have the coolest... I shouldn't be saying cool. I'm like surrounded by a bunch of dead people right now, and I'm saying their little tombstones are cool. Oh God.
Although she was curious, she felt increasingly uncomfortable standing alone among them in near silence, noting that her earlier run of bad luck made the setting feel even more ominous. The unusual activity began almost immediately after she parked. A light positioned in front of the small church inside the cemetery repeatedly turned on and off. She confirmed that the weather was still and briefly considered whether an animal could be triggering it. But the timing quickly became difficult to ignore.
You guys, I'm not making this up right now, but there's a light in front of the church, and when you walk past the light, it turns on. I know, because I walked over there 2 times to look at the cemetery. Now I'm in my car, and it's flicked on 2 times. It's not windy outside. It could be an animal, I guess. I did hear something in the bushes as well when I was looking at one of the tombstones. I don't know if that's what you call them, because they're not stones. But you know what I mean. There's no way I'm gonna be able to sleep tonight here. I'm gonna try though. I do not like how that light keeps turning on and off. I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's a light that lights up the front of the church. And there it goes. It's turned on twice since I've come back. What do you think it is, guys? Do you think it's animals or wind, or do you think it's ghosts or spirits?
The light activated when she focused on paranormal topics, when she examined the spirit houses, and again while she read about their meaning as shelters for a soul in the afterlife. Feeling overwhelmed, she researched the cemetery further and discovered it was widely considered one of the most paranormally active places in Alaska, a detail she hadn't known before arriving.
Just reading a little bit more about the spirit boxes, and they symbolize shelter for the departed soul in the afterlife. Right as I read that sentence, of course, that light turned on again. Of course it could mean nothing, but it could mean something. You guys let me know. What do you think? Okay, I really haven't researched much about this cemetery until right now. Obviously, our plans from earlier got a little messed up. I was gonna be camping at the igloo, so this was a quick last minute change of plans. Well, I just learned that this cemetery is one of Alaska's most notorious locations for paranormal activity. I cannot make this up. I did not know that until right now. Oh my god. I feel like I have to stay because I committed to it, but your girl is scared. I do not like that light coming on and off. It's not even windy outside. I do not want to be around paranormal activity.
The realization increased her fear, but she also felt committed to finishing the Halloween episode. As a precaution, she changed her usual stealth camping routine by leaving her window coverings off so she could quickly move into the driver's seat if necessary. She described sensing an uncomfortable presence nearby and prepared herself for a restless night. Despite the tension, she eventually managed to get some sleep. Every small sound startled her, and the light continued flickering throughout the night, but nothing escalated beyond that. When daylight finally returned, the activity stopped. She quickly packed up her vehicle, relieved to have completed the Halloween stealth camp, and eager to leave one of Alaska's most haunted cemeteries behind. Some viewers believe the repeated light activity could be explained by environmental factors or animals, while others think the timing aligned too closely with her actions to be coincidence. The pattern raises questions about whether the location's reputation shaped the experience or confirmed it. If the activity increased only when she focused on the cemetery's history, what might have happened if she had stayed awake longer or investigated further? The experience leaves an open mystery about what, if anything, was reacting to her presence. Biahiza began a new journey on February 1st, 2026, looking for the quiet of a snowy environment to enjoy a comfortable, self-sufficient camping setup inside his car. What started as a peaceful solo escape, however, quickly turned into a situation focused on survival. For this trip, Biahiza converted his car into a fully functional solo camping space. With the setup complete, he headed out expecting an ideal winter experience.
Car's been off for about 20-30 minutes and it is getting pretty cold. So for my heating solution, I've purchased this Korean butane powered heating device that a lot of people on the internet recommended. I'm a little sussed out with butane burning inside of a car, so I'm gonna use it sparingly and only when I'm awake. For my cooking solution, I brought along this propane stove. The gas line runs underneath the countertop through a little niche I cut out where you can connect it to a can of propane. I made sure to bring some cooking supplies like this pan and also a cooler for a few items that I wanted on ice rather than in the fridge. For my appetizer, I'll be having some lightly toasted bread, salted grass-fed butter, salmon boba on top. A little salty, a little fishy, and just the energy that I'll need to cook up the main course.
Everything was arranged carefully, making cooking feel easy and controlled. After finishing his meal and spending time reading quietly, a deep stillness settled around him. It seemed like the night would pass without any problems. Eventually, he turned off the lights and fell asleep. Not long after, the calm shifted.
Hey! Hello, who is this? Can I help you? Hey! What can I do for you?
Open the door! Open the door!
I'm not gonna be able to do that.
Hey, what are you doing?
A stranger suddenly approached and demanded that he open the car door. As Biahiza tried to stay calm, the individual became more aggressive, banging on the windows and shining a flashlight directly inside. Realizing the danger, he quickly started the engine to leave. The attacker escalated further, striking the windows and tearing away the mesh screen until the glass shattered. Pieces flew inside, leaving him with cuts, including an injury near his eye.
It's been like 2 weeks since this happened. What you can't really see in this video is that the car that drives up and starts honking actually first fully blocks in my car. Someone comes out of the car with a flashlight. My windows are cracked open, so I try to speak to him and he's just not responding. It's dead silence. He then suddenly starts banging on the window, yelling at me to open the door. Once I heard the aggression in his voice, I realized that this was not a friendly encounter, so I reached around from the back and started up the car. He gets even more aggressive, starts banging on all my windows, continues yelling at me to open the door. Snow underneath the car is more frozen. My wheels are spinning in place, not catching traction. He aggressively rips off my mesh bug net, keeps banging the window harder and harder until he fully breaks it in, and I'm showered with shards of glass in my face. Right at this point, my wheels catch traction and there's just enough of an angle there where I can squeeze past his car, get around him, and get myself out of there. You can see my left eye rapidly blinking here. It was blurry the entire way home, and after getting it checked out, it appears that some of the glass had scratched through my eyeball. I've been going through treatment for that. My mind goes to maybe he lived in the area, saw my car, thought I was up to no good, but then why block me in and smash through my window instead of just talking to me?
In a critical moment, he managed to maneuver around the blocking vehicle and escape. Although he got away, the experience left him shaken both physically and mentally. If his tires had lost traction, or if his reaction had been even slightly slower, the outcome could have been much worse. If you were in that situation, would you have reacted quickly enough? Dan is the creator behind the YouTube channel, Exploring with Fighters. He takes viewers into abandoned buildings and deep, supposedly haunted forests, using immersive storytelling to explore the unknown. But on November 15th, 2022, he and his friend Flex discovered just how dangerous and unsettling these adventures could become before they even finished setting up camp. On the night of a full moon, the two made their way toward Epping Forest to film another camping video.
I never ever take my equipment out of the car. I used this car to do a tip run only a few days ago, but I emptied the car and put my ground sheet on the bottom and did a big tip run, and I didn't put the stuff back in the car. I have everything in the car, put my bag in the car, put all my paranormal equipment in the car. The ground sheet's still in the car from when we did the tip run, but I just don't have the tents and the sleeping bags.
Their drive ended at the base of Hangman's Hill, where a quiet church stood under the moonlight.
Well, if we go around the back of the church and camp in the forest there, we can have a fire because we're not on the graveyard.
Is that noise?
Yeah, what the hell was that?
That wasn't a normal fox noise.
It could have been, but that doesn't sound like an old fox.
Right, come on, let's grab our stuff and set camp. It's getting cold already, so... Right, so we've got the tent set up. This one is going to be our main warm fire. It's going to be our main warm fire. That one is going to be the cooking fire. So when that's died out and it's just embers, we'll put the pans on that. So doing it a little bit different this time.
Faint fairy lights softly lit the church surrounded by old gravestones, giving the area an eerie presence. As darkness settled over the forest, camping nearby only made the atmosphere feel heavier. While moving deeper into the woods, they heard a strange sound echoing between the trees. They questioned whether it was just a fox or something far more unsettling. Eventually, they found a secluded clearing and began setting up camp. The large 6-man tent looked oddly out of place among the dense trees. They built 2 separate fires and tried to settle in for the night. Despite the earlier tension and uneasy surroundings, they prepared a steak dinner one they would never finish.
Now this is where we realised there's a beast in the woods and it smells the steak and comes after us. It is pretty damn good. Do you like the broccoli?
We'll try some now, actually. I've never actually tried it.
It makes it all worthwhile. All the hard work that went into it. Oh!
Who's that?
Shh. Can you hear that walking around? What's that?
As they began eating the overcooked steak, a dull impact broke through the darkness. Seconds later, something solid struck the side of the tent. The uneasy atmosphere instantly turned into the feeling of being watched. Even inside the large tent, they felt exposed. They froze in silence, exchanging worried glances.
If you hear anything, tell us, because I'm not going to do anything with So I've got a CCTV camera up there. It might go in on there. I put it up there because last time we got a fox on camera walking around the tents. So I wanted to see if we capture any animals walking around. But whatever that was, it smashed the side of the tent. It could have. Did you hear footsteps? At first I thought, hold on, it could be like a branch falling off the tree, right? But the way it smacked the side of the tent, but then the footsteps, but then it could have been an animal. I'll have to check that CCTV footage.
With rising anxiety, they checked their surveillance footage.
So when something's triggered on the camera, it takes about 2 or 3 second delay. So I didn't actually catch whatever was thrown at the tent. But check this out. In the bottom right corner, something comes into the frame. There was definitely someone there. And it looks like they just take a look what was going on. And as Flex pops his head out to take a look, they dart off into the darkness. Now this is quite a scary thought.
Because of a slight delay, the image appeared moments later, a figure entering the frame. It stopped facing the tent. Then, as Flex unzipped the tent to look outside, the figure quickly vanished into the darkness. The footage provided no clear explanation. It confirmed only one thing: they were not alone. They left immediately, but one question remained. Who caused the disturbance? Had someone been watching them the entire time? And if so, what did they want? If you had been there, would you have stayed to find out who it was? It was October 19th, 2025 when Exploring with Angelo uploaded their latest video. Known for exploring abandoned locations and remote haunted areas, the channel documents real overnight trips where isolation often becomes unsettling. This time, Angelo and his friend Frank reached a remote lake near Lake Wanapitai in northern Ontario hours behind schedule. The original campground had closed its gates by 5 p.m., forcing them to drive another 4 hours through the night. By the time they arrived at this forgotten spot, it was close to 10:30 p.m., the air cold and biting. Somewhere beyond the trees lay a lake rumored to be haunted. Locals had spoken about shadowy figures and a strange glowing presence appearing near the shoreline. For the two explorers, it was just another challenge. But as the temperature dropped and the silence deepened, the wilderness began to show it had other plans. Under the harsh glow of their headlights, Angelo and Frank started setting up their hot tent, their only protection against the freezing air. Metal clanged frost formed on their gloves, and the dark forest absorbed every sound of their breathing. As they unpacked the wood stove, a low growl echoed across the lake.
Alright, so I'm going to start chopping up some wood because we're going to need some kindling to get this thing started. We want to warm this puppy up as much as possible.
You hear that?
What?
I just heard like a growl. Like that way. All jokes aside.
From over there?
That way.
Do you have the
Which is
flashlight on
by
you?
the lake. Well, towards the lake anyway.
That's good. Starting off with the to a good start, I suppose. We're about to get eaten right away. There, see, I'm hearing it again.
What?
Like someone talking. I don't know what. At first, it sounded like it was coming from there. Now it sounds like it's coming from that way. I don't know. Who knows? Now I'm hearing wolves. We don't know if they're wolves or coyotes. Kinda sounded like wolves to me.
Angelo paused, scanning the tree line. Moments later, faint voices drifted out of the darkness, too human to ignore, too far away to explain. They kept working for hours under flickering car lights until the tent finally filled with warmth. But the comfort didn't last. When Frank stepped away to collect more firewood, he noticed movement near the shoreline.
Does it sound like something's moving back there?
Yep.
It's like walking, like someone's walking, right? I mean, we haven't really gone back there yet, but...
Ugh, I'm so tired.
I know, me too. I've been on the road literally all day, but... I mean, we keep hearing voices. What if somebody's, like, down there? Maybe, like, night fishing or something.
I mean, it could be.
Could be. Let's go check. Let's just verify.
I mean, it wouldn't be ideal without lights, but, you know.
I mean, I guess.
Would you want to be out here without a flashlight?
I mean, I guess not.
Or some means of being able to see?
Make sure I have the car keys.
Because it is pitch black, guys. Once we shut off the lights, like, it is
It's
black out here.
You ever use this as like a boat launch?
It could be.
Because I'm pretty sure this goes. Oh,
Is there?
there's a car.
Oh?
We did not notice that when we got here.
Whoops. Maybe somebody else is camping out here?
There's a trailer.
Might make sense of the noise.
There's no one in it. That'd be kind of weird if I went to look through the window, but. Oh, there's a fire pit.
So,
Following the sound, they came across something unsettling: a truck and boat trailer left behind near the boat ramp. The registration tag showed 2022. No fire, no footprints, only silence. Back inside, they tried to move past it. Angelo prepared dinner on the stove sausage spinach mushrooms, the kind of meal meant to take his mind off the tension. But the footsteps returned this time right outside the tent.
You hear something outside?
Yeah. What the hell's that?
literally sounds like something's walking.
The fuck?
Wait. No, it's on this side. Oh? That was weird.
That was very weird.
What's interesting, I know I haven't explained the story yet. I'm about to get to it just after we finish eating because we're starving. But apparently that's a thing that happens here. Like people hear like movement, like walking around the tent. I just really don't feel like checking right now because, well, I'm eating. And if I do see something, the food may go flying. See if we hear it again. That was my stomach, but I swear it sounded like a rock like smashed or something.
That was definitely a rock.
Right? Okay, now I'm confused. That was running.
What the hell? Okay, now I'm curious.
Right? Hello? Someone out there? That was weird. What was that?
I don't know.
Later, while eating, Angelo chose to read 2 stories locals had shared about the same lake stories describing shadows among the trees and a glowing figure by the water. As he reached the final line, a laugh echoed from outside. It wasn't wind. It wasn't an animal. It sounded human. They rushed out but found nothing, only the outline of the same abandoned truck still untouched. Looking for answers, Angelo turned on the spirit box. Static filled the air. Then a voice came through. It mentioned a name, referenced the woods, and spoke in a way that left no room for comfort. It was enough to drain the color from their faces. Back inside the tent, silence returned, but neither of them slept. Could the voices and laughter have come from nearby campers? Possibly, but no one ever returned for that truck. The growl, the footsteps, the whispers, all felt too close, too intentional. Maybe the stories about this lake were more than just rumors. When morning arrived, the truck was still there. No tracks, no movement, just the same uneasy stillness across the water. If no one came back for it, then who was laughing outside their tent that night? It was November 16th, 2024, when Sura Ronster, a YouTube channel known for high-energy electric bike rides and urban exploration, released a video unlike anything previously featured. What was supposed to be another ride through abandoned tunnels quickly turned into something far more unsettling.
I was not going to post this video. Something happened that I cannot explain. It was caught on camera, and if I wasn't there, I would think the video is fake. That's why I didn't want to post it. But here we are. Strap in, and trust me, what you're about to see is 100% real.
The host opens with an unusual admission. He nearly chose not to upload the footage. Something occurred inside that tunnel, something he still cannot explain. The team prepares their gear and communicates through walkie-talkies, setting a clear objective to reach deep into an underground tunnel, rumored to contain graffiti untouched for over 70 years. As they move forward, the passage becomes tighter and hotter. What begins as excitement slowly turns into tension. The ceiling lowers, the air thickens, and the sound of their engines starts echoing back in unnatural ways. They pause to spray their tag across the damp concrete walls, leaving their mark before continuing deeper into the darkness. The signal on their walkies weakens, and it becomes clear they are completely out of range. Surrounded by silence and the steady drip of water, the group keeps moving forward. Claustrophobia begins to build. Then, about 5 miles in, they stop to rest. That's when the host hears it.
We need to report instantly. Let's go.
You realizing we're out of range now? We turned back to meet up with the other guys and all stopped to have a drink. I didn't want to stop. I felt pretty anxious being 5 miles deep in an underground tunnel with only one way in and one way out. I took my helmet off and stopped recording, and after about 10 minutes while one of us was talking and the rest of us were quietly listening, I heard 2 clear voices coming from the direction we just turned back. So I immediately put my helmet back on, powered on the GoPro, and hit record. But it turned out later that my clip never recorded. And that's only the very beginning of where it gets really difficult to explain things. Thankfully, Tonka was recording. His YouTube channel is What's Good America 1, and that's the angle we're looking at right now. So at this point, I had heard 2 male voices and told everyone to be quiet. I pointed my flashlight down the tunnel and see nothing. We all hear nothing. Then in the opposite direction, a loud noise, the first noise we heard the entire hour plus we spent in the tunnel, startles all of us. All a little freaked out, we literally run out of the tunnel. It was a very long ride back out before this happened.
We're going to be performing some extreme stunts coming out the tunnel. I advise you get this on video.
We continued having a good time before calling it a day. And you're probably thinking, that's it? You heard a loud noise? No. Here's where it gets really creepy and hard to explain. Bro, look at this. Later that night, Tonka sends me a text. Bro, I think I caught ghost audio. He attaches a clip and says, it sounds like it was said right into my mic as if someone was whispering it into my ear. And I know it wasn't me because I was trying to listen for sounds. I'm about to play the clip and I need to know down below, what do you think?
Remember when we thought we heard something, bro? Listen, this is when you went to check it. Did you hear that? That was not me, bro. I didn't make that sound. What the fuck? Bro.
To me, it sounds like someone whispering Lula directly into the mic. At first, I thought maybe Tonka whispered under his breath, but let's remember where his mic is. Here I have the same exact microphone that Tonka was using. It was right here, so when you're talking normally, it can hear you. That was why you had it there. But if you're whispering, you can't hear. In the same way, if you're whispering here, it would have had to been here to say Lula. Lula. I listened to it 100 times with my girlfriend that night, and we agree it kind of sounds like me. But this audio is directly off Tonka's camera, and I was not even close to whisper distance from his mic. Like I said at the beginning, I wouldn't believe this if I wasn't there.
2 male voices faintly echoing from the direction they had come. He grabs his GoPro and turns it on, but later discovers nothing was recorded. Moments afterward, from the opposite direction, a loud metallic crash echoes through the tunnel, causing the group to rush back toward the exit. The laughter and excitement vanish, replaced entirely by fear. Later that night, Tonka, one of the riders, reviews his footage and notices something disturbing. A faint whisper captured near his microphone sounding like the word Lula. The host demonstrates that the mic was positioned too far away for anyone to have whispered into it, eliminating the possibility of a simple prank. 2 voices, a camera failure, a whisper with no clear source. Each detail on its own might be explained, but together they form a pattern that resists logic. Was it simply coincidence, a mix of echoes and interference, or did something inside that tunnel want to be heard? The host does not claim to have an answer. He only knows what he experienced felt real. And as the video ends, he admits one thing: if he hadn't been there himself, he would have assumed it was fake.